What's up, guys? So today I'm quickly going to show you how to find the key of a song. It's actually really simple. Okay, if you're watching this as part of my music theory course, then you know that each chord inside of a key has a number assigned to it. The chord that's built, the first chord in the key is the 1 chord. Then we have the 2 minor chord and the 3 minor chord. Then we have the 4 chord and the 5 chord, which are both major. And then we have the 6 minor chord and then the 7th chord. And the distance between these two chords, just stay with me here. The 1 to the 2 chord is a whole step, the 2 to the 3 is a whole step, the 3 to the 4 is a half step, and then we have a whole step and a whole step and a whole step to the 7th chord. Back to the 1 chord, we have a half step going back to the 1 chord. Okay, so those are our 6 chords inside of a key. And that actually helps us a ton when trying to figure out the chords in a key. So basically in the key of C, this would be a C chord, the 1, and the 4 and 5 would be F and G, okay? And you can do that by just going a whole step. And that. If you don't understand what whole steps and half steps are, then you shouldn't be trying to figure out keys. You should first go do some basic music theory before you can understand this. Okay, but anyway, so let's say you're looking at a piece of music and you see the chords A minor, F, C, and G, right? Now, what do we see there? We see that we have these 2 major chords next to each other, right? F and G, they're next to each other. And then we have another major chord. Now, the moment you see 2 major chords next to each other, like a whole step apart, F and G, C and D, A and B, then you know that those 2 chords are probably going to be the 4 and 5 chords. So if F and G are the 4 and 5, then we can just do some deductive reasoning and find out what is the 1, and that is our key, which is C, which conveniently is also inside the chord progression. But what if we have a chord progression going like C, D, B minor, and then back to C? What key is this in then? Well, you look at the 2 major chords, C and D, they're next to each other, so they're obviously 4 and 5. If they're 4 and 5, you can just go backwards on your guitar and figure out where's the 1. 4, 5, and then go find the 1. Then the 1 would be G. So the key is then G. And the B minor is the 3rd chord, and the 4 and 5 is C and D. Okay, so that's basically how it is. Now, once you understand that, there are 3 ways you can find the chord. So the only unique thing inside a key that only one key has is the 4 and 5 chords. Okay, so there's only 1 chord that have the same 2 major chords next to each other. Okay, so that's a very important thing to find. But what if you don't have 2 major chords in the progression? What if you have like this chord progression? E minor, B minor, C, and then going to G. You don't really know what key this is in, right? Because you don't have 2 major chords next to each other. The C and G are not next to each other, so it's not the 4 and 5. But you do have this thing, B minor to C. And that is the 3rd minor chord to the 4th. That's the 2nd way that you can find the key. Is going, if you see that pattern, if you see a minor chord going to a major chord. The other place you can see it is like if you go E minor to F, right? That chord change only exists in 1 key. It's the key of C, because that's the 3 minor chord and that's the 4, okay? Because that's a half step from E to F. You can also have this when you're going like C sharp minor to D, okay? Where if that's the 3 minor, that's the 4, then the 1 is therefore 1 equals A. So that's the key of A. So this chord progression is in the key of A. Okay, so you should be aware of when do you see a 3 minor going to a 4, and then the other place that you can also see is 2 minor chords a whole step apart. Okay, just remember between 4 and 5 there's a whole step. Between 3 and 4 there's a half step. Between 2 and 3 there's a whole step. Okay, but you need to know this kind of thing is very, very important. So if you see 2 minor chords next to each other, you know that's the 2 and the 3, and the 1 is going to be whatever the 1 is, you know, deductive reasoning. Okay, so that's it. I'll take quickly find the key of any song. If this was too fast, and then you should do my music theory course, because if you've done all the days up to this day, which is going to be day 13, then you would understand what I'm talking about here, and this would make a lot of sense. Okay. This is not going to be day 13. It's going to be part of the finding the chords in the key, things like day 7 or 8. But anyway, have a nice day. Check out joobamusic.com, sign up for premium, join my community. Have a nice day.